that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared?
Hello, my sweet weirdos out there in Weirdo Land. It's Jaybird, Denny's, Mr. Beckett, and Vicky. How the hell is everybody?
Yeah,
Solid.
doing well. I'm not sure at the YouTube status at the moment, so.
Yeah, we are trying to figure out if we have major just technical issues because we have shitty equipment. Although this equipment should not be shitty.
I don't think it's the shittiness of the equipment.
It shouldn't be because it's good equipment, and I spent good amount of money on it. Is it possibly paranormal shit going on, Vicky? Is that a thing?
I'd go with more like internet type of thing.
I have the best internet.
That's what he said.
My vote is my vote's Hewlett Packard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be the computer. It could be the internet. It could be a magnitude of things. Let's see. I'm pulling up the channel right now. I see us moving.
Yeah. So we'll just play it by ear, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. And if the YouTube part doesn't work again, we're just gonna keep on trucking like we did last week. Beckett brought some disgusting looking beet juice. I'm kind of annoyed, and I also have the air condition on right now. And the air condition, I'm gonna have to pause this for a second. It is literally going
right down your shirt,
right on my dick.
Arctic blast.
I gotta turn off the air, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's just the internet in general. Sometimes when they're doing work in areas too, they just did work in my area where they sent a thing out saying the internet's gonna be affected. I mean, sometimes they just work in areas. We could be just in an affected area.
Well, let's just keep on trucking, as they say in the business.
Well, so I pull up the all the stuff, not to get too crazy into it, but if you pull up the task manager, which is pretty basic, it does show that the computer itself is running at a decent speed. So
yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into it.
Vicky, we have a big weekend coming up, do we not?
Yes, we do.
And why do we have a big weekend?
Because we are going to spend part of our weekend with you.
You are too, right, Beckett?
Yeah.
Sweet Denny's is coming by on Friday?
On Friday.
Yeah. We are going to be investigating my house. And my house right now, in my opinion, is very, very active. Now, Vicky, I've known you since when?
2007.
Yeah.
Damn, that was quick.
That's
it's because that was the year I started as a paranormal investigator. That's how come I remember it.
Out of all of my time, this is one of the times I would say in the higher level. And I would, about the last 10 days. Whenever I went on the air on the KVJ show and said Maurice Jefferson, we had all that talk, and there was the Weeping Man. Because you, Vicky, if you have not caught up on that, I was hearing a weeping man in my pantry by my closet. And then Vicky was thinking it might be a missing child. We were trying to connect all the dots, but long story short, to just kind of get through it, because we have a lot to cover tonight, there's been a lot of activity, and a lot of activity in my living room area. And specifically the crouching, sprinting, whatever that is. It's in that corner, and it squats down. And I can see it squatting down, almost like a catcher. And you'll be chilling, you'll be watching TV, or you'll be going under, and you get the feeling something is watching you, and you just wake up. You ever have that, Beckett?
Oh yeah.
You're laying in bed, then boom, all of a sudden, that one night stand's looking at you with the knife. Back in the day, you know.
It doesn't have to be that far back.
All right. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted. Beckett's got the worst case of beet teeth.
Do I?
You definitely have beet teeth.
You have beet teeth,
I saw
dog.
when you came in.
I should have knew that was gonna happen.
It's like, remember when you used to go to the dentist? They probably don't do it anymore, and they gave you those little tablets that you had to chew for and they were that color.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, you look
I
like
can
you've been,
taste that as you mentioned it.
Well, hopefully the YouTube's not working.
you look like you've been 69 in the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh my gosh, I might need a beer to wash this down.
He's like, oh yeah.
But so major activity in the place. People who are not caught up, they heard me talking about it today. Go, what's going on here? The Weeping Man has been a big thing. The Crouching Man in the corner, which I completely think are absolutely two different spirits, two different energies. And I've talked about this before. There's a mixture of stuff going on here. in my opinion. So we're gonna try to. We're gonna see what happens.
Remember, we finished the podcast last week and we walked outside and the aliens had been rearranged.
They've been shifted.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, Vicky, why don't you describe that? We talk about how you walked in the house, because you always do a walkthrough when you get here. Now we're talking about last week,
Right.
and all the aliens were in my lobby area.
They were where they always are.
My little statues.
And we finished the show. I was the first one to open the door. And when I looked out, I saw the alien basically ass up away from its position. And I said to you immediately, did you do this? Did you knock this over? And then you came out, and it should have been this way, and it had been flipped and to the side. And then you also have one, it's like a big-headed baby alien that's pretty heavy, and it had been knocked over as well. But
Yeah.
what I want to say is every single one of us, our first thought is that somebody had come into the house. So for people who think that we immediately jump to ghost, all of us, you said, oh, I think the door's locked. Check it. I think you went to go check the patio doors.
Yeah.
And I went to go check my wallet to see if everything was in my wallet. You mentioned about an intruder. So our first thought was not to try to jump and declare it paranormal.
Yeah, I'm always going to think it's weird, because I'm literally dealing with ghosts and stalker. So I never know.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not even being cute, but I've had some weird things happen, Beckett.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Recently?
Yeah. Weird enough to where I'm not going to be able to even get into specifics of why I can't even talk about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very suspicious.
Yeah.
I
So
can't
I've
wait
got
to
a lot
ask
of
you all
things
about it.
What's that?
Said I can't wait to ask you all about it later.
After the podcast, I'll give you the skinny.
Yeah.
I'll give you the skinny. But we are definitely going to be investigating, doing all that great stuff. And Vicky, people want to know what goes into what we're going to be doing.
What we're going to do, I have 2 team members coming to help me out. And of course, everybody here on the Weird and Whatever will be there. We're going to set up the cameras. I'm going to make sure that on those cameras, we have all your exits covered. So if at any time someone says someone came into the house and they fake something, in case we do catch it, we'll be able to go back and pull up that footage, and we can prove that, all the doors, nobody walked in the door, nobody else came in. We're going to do our traditional EVP sessions. We're going to use ones without the spirit box. We're going to do some with the spirit box, and we're going to just do what we do. And most importantly, when we leave, we're going to leave everything running, because that's where we caught our evidence before.
Now, lately, I would say about the last 4 weeks, for whatever reason, I've been passing out a lot on my my couch out there. It's really mainly because my room, I'm doing a couple things, a couple projects in there, so my bed's a little kind of out to lunch, as they say. So do I stay in the same area where I've been having the experiences?
Yeah, you're going to continue whatever you normally would do. In fact, we're going to set up our monitors, which is the main place that we're going to be sitting and looking at them for a while we're still here. We're going to put it as far away out of the way as possible where you haven't been. And I think we decided that we're going to set the monitor up itself in your bedroom, because we're not going to have a camera in there since you haven't been going in there lately.
Yeah. Now, that bedroom is active. It is definitely active, in my opinion.
It's
but
real active.
I think that's good stuff, Denny. Someone's warming up for joke jury.
yeah, you know it,
I love
yeah.
that. Do you want to go right into Denny's random facts?
No, do not let me take the shine.
That's great.
Let's get to a few emails I thought were pretty interesting. We've got Ask Vicky. This is an email. Dear Weird and Whatever, I have a question for Vicky. Last week, oh no, sorry. I apologize. That's the wrong fucking prep. Denny, stretch for me.
Yeah. I actually need to stretch because I've been sleeping. So you ever rotate your mattress and then you sleep weird and then you like kind of want to put it back the way it was?
I haven't rotated my mattress in a long time, and that reminds me I should do that.
Everybody should do it every now and then. I'd say once a year.
Yeah.
At least, but some of the newer mattresses, you can't.
They make them weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to buy another one.
I think that's the problem. But I rotated it, and now I have a pain. So it's weird. I thought it was breathing. I thought it was labored breathing. But it's actually, if I stretch, I can feel the muscle. It's a real deep-seated muscle in my back.
Interesting. I've been thinking about getting the temper. I've been thinking about getting the.
I found my shit.
All right.
I've been thinking about getting the temperature control one because they say that's a big deal. But the problem with these memory foams is it takes away the motion of the ocean, and it makes, in my opinion, sex not as good. Because if you ever seen the wine
It's like
thing,
quicksand.
yeah, well, anytime that there's bounce, it absorbs the bounce. So I won't go into details, but you could understand like why that would be bad for your love life.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
great
it.
for a wine glass and a bowling ball and a demo and a commercial, but it's not good for your love
For
life.
sleeping though, it is fantastic. I prefer the memory. I like that memory foam.
They are
really?
not a official sponsor. Don't we do not get
You're
paid
right.
a fucking thing for this. This is free. So if there are mishaps and bad sound and I forget my place, it's free content. guys. It's free.
That's great.
It's not good. It's free.
What are our thoughts on visions? That it's a long email. It's about people having visions. Do you guys believe that you can have a legit vision and it means something, or is that all just baloney?
I think you can. This wasn't a very positive experience, but when my sister was in her early 20s, she had a boyfriend, and she had a vision that he would die changing a tire on the side of the highway, and maybe a week later, he died changing a tire on the side of the highway.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beckett, visions, you being the resident skeptic that's not really a skeptic anymore.
Yeah, I actually would probably lean more to yes than I would no, because I believe that's what is what happens with deja vu. I think that you'd actually have seen it at some point, whether it was a dream or whatever. So when you say vision, kind of like a premonition on something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, when you have deja vu, I think that in your head, you either had that exact thing consciously or subconsciously, or something very close to it, so it triggers that thing. So yeah, I would lean more to yes.
Sweet Denny's.
What if you just had a feeling of something, and then your brain's piecing it together as an image for you to interpret, and it's
Yeah.
kind of what leads to be a premonition?
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up, because I texted Vicky. Was that over the weekend, Vicky?
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, I had a really weird experience, and I want to see if anyone's ever had that before. And it really does kind of correlate with the whole ghost or spirit thing. I was sitting on my couch, and I got a really odd feeling, and I felt as if somebody was talking to me, and they showed me something, but it was no more longer than a second, and I really couldn't explain it. But all I could do was get the feedback of it. I could get the data from it, and it was trying to tell me spirits like to go around houses that have a lot of loud noises. They feed off of that because they like to blur the line. And a blurred line sometimes of truth and lie is maybe even more devastating than a flat out lie. Sometimes a flat out lie you can
You can disprove it and
you can
shoot
sniff
it down.
it out. Yeah, it's where there's some truth.
Yeah.
You're talking to Beckett. Beckett's your boy 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But then 10% of the time he's being shady as
Shady.
fuck. Yeah, that 10%'s pretty big.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, that's how propaganda works. You know, you take a morsel of truth and then you build upon it. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is scary.
And that was what the vision was to me, Vicky. It was as if a spirit kind of got in my head. And I know I sound like I dropped acid this weekend. I swear I did not. Never done acid. But it was speaking as one voice. I don't want to say for all spirits, but for a collective voice. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it totally made sense when you sent that to me. And I think it happens to a lot of people, but they just blow it off or think, oh, I must have been nodding off for a second. But you had the realization that it was actually spirit communication.
It was an odd feeling because it was almost as if it was a knowing.
Right.
Let me go ahead and explain this to somebody because this is what I just saw.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Well, to Vicky's point, gravity always existed way before we understood what it
Yeah.
is and how it worked, So just because we didn't understand or how it worked, we just thought an apple fell from the tree and hit the ground. But then we eventually understood it. So it's a little apples and oranges, but this is, I think, similar. Just because we don't understand it, like we might accidentally per Jason's experience, be bumping up against something that we just don't know about yet. We don't understand. We don't know how to tap into it. It's like on a radio dial, we've had this conversation where you're just like you're a point frequency off, you know, you're not, and so you can hear a little bit of the static and a little bit what you're saying, but until you go to 97.9, you don't hear all the good stuff.
Look
you know?
at Beckett.
Look at that.
This motherfucker plugging the station, doing the
it.
company man, don't even work for the company.
stuff.
Yeah, look at this guy.
All the noise around it. Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Oh,
Well, you wonder as humans, because if you would subscribe to the theory that if day one human compared to present day human, that we've changed in some ways, like our hands have gotten smaller. I guess we've gotten a little bit taller over the years. I mean, we have physically changed. You could argue that as our bodies use less physical activity, we then maybe over time it directs it more towards your brain, and you start developing maybe. Humans of 100 years from now have the ability to close communicate without speaking.
And I'm speaking more of an awake vision. I think a dream, you can totally get a message, a vision. Beckett, what's your dreaming been like of late? Do you remember your dreams?
Yeah, they've been a little naughty lately, but
I didn't doubt that.
I started smiling right when I knew you were going to ask me because it just happened too.
When I brought up you 69 of the Kool-Aid Man, quarter hard. Yeah, what your dreams?
Full mass,
your dreams have been very sexual, very carnal. You say?
Yeah, and there's always reasons you can kind of put out there why that's the case. You know, I really honestly don't know the answer why that's the case. Sometimes when I have scary dreams, that gives me anxiety. I go through phases. You know, and a weird thing when I'm not drinking alcohol and I'm waking up for the gym and I'm really clean, like eating clean and
fucking crushing it, legs,
crushing
tries,
it.
buys.
I seem to have dreams more often and more vivid, and of course that makes sense. So again, when I'm partying a little bit more, and all my clients are in town this time of year, I tend to have less of those connections. But it reminds me of what Jaybird and Vicky says in terms of you develop your skill by being open to it. Yeah. So I.
Great stuff, Beckett.
It's just so weird to me that, like you're saying, when you eat clean, it's just it's just weird to me that the most optimal human is somebody that drinks water, eats vegetation and stuff, but our bodies crave all the others. They don't even want the regular. It's our optimal human is so hard to achieve. Why does all this stuff exist for us? Why is there caffeine? Why is there sugar? And it's all abundant around us, and we just kind of learned what they do.
Well, possibly, maybe that is a way of saying sometimes you need a boost.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's just so odd to me. You think if they made if this was all created for humans to exist and just enjoy themselves in, why are we so driven towards the bad stuff? Why is that?
Well,
tobacco.
So bad stuff. Now we're in a game of semantics. What is
bad? For being the most optimal human you can be, as far as keeping your body in the most perfect condition, keeping your mentality in the most perfect condition. That means going to bed, early to bed, early to rise, all that stuff. Drinking only water, eating only grains, and stuff that I guess your body processes the best.
But would you argue a person that would be like that? They would, and I'm just
saying if the grand design is that.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we mess up with the grand design, and to use one of the things you referenced, Native Americans used to chew on tobacco leaves during their meetings, and the nicotine would oxygenate their brain, and it's one of the few plant-based substances that does it. Well, of course, down the line, humans started putting pneumonia and chemicals and rolling it up and making you inhale it and all that.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's a same thing with cocaine. It's a very far departure from how it was put on this earth.
I just find it odd that something like that exists, that when we ingest it or smoke it or whatever we do, it causes an effect for us.
Yeah.
It's just odd that we exist coincidentally on the planet that has that type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if we had never developed it and never had a taste for it, then it wouldn't be. We're just one big giant addiction waiting to happen.
That's right.
We get addicted to everything, and it's usually detrimental things.
Well, do you think the reason why we get addicted to stuff because we are always chasing some type of high, no matter what, whether it's someone patting you on the back or a drug high or alcoholic high? Because when you really break it down at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to get heavy, but we're all just kind of avoiding the inevitable death. That's the, I mean, those are little things, those are distractions. And you could argue distractions keep you away from going into that crazy place of what happens. It's a heavy thing for a lot of people to, I would say for most people, no one knows why we're here. People can fucking say it till they're blue in their face. They can act like they know, but no one's really got the answer. And that's a heavy thought. So you wonder if you really took all of the distractions away and you just had about thinking where you come from and what happens when you die. Is that a overly heavy life? Just a thought.
So I think that's similar to like what these Buddhists do when they go live in a cave in silence for a year and meditate, and they say that, you know, that's how you have nirvana, I think, is in the middle of the mandala. And when I did ayahuasca, some of the critics believed in that, but they thought that doing ayahuasca was like taking a helicopter to the top of the mountain rather than slowly climbing it on your own 2 feet, not doing the work to get there. So I used ayahuasca in my ceremony as a way for me to have what they say 5 years of therapy in 5 hours. So some people were like, hey, you should go live in a cave for a year and meditate and not speak. And I was like, I don't have that in the cards, but
like,
I do want that experience in life based on what I've read and heard. So
Vicky, if you were told, Vicky, you're going to get some real awesome enlightenment if you take this ayahuasca over here, do you do it?
I think I would. I think at this point in my life I would. If you had said that to me 20 years ago, maybe not.
Can you elaborate on that? Why is that?
The older I get, the more I feel like I'm striving for peace, because I realize I got caught up. Because the fact is, you know, kids would always come to me and say, Miss Burnett, he's chasing me. And I say, well, he can't chase you if you don't run. So if we don't get caught up in all the crap of the world, which we all do at some point, a certain degree of it, if we had never gotten caught up, we wouldn't have to ultimately find peace because we would have had it all along. But with maturity, you realize that, and you start to go a little bit backwards, and you start to look for things to be simpler.
And you also go, I mean, the older you get, the more loss you have. You start losing people. And I think when you start losing things that are near and dear to your heart, I mean, for most people, and at least in my opinion, you start getting some stripes. You get some badges of maturing some. You lose someone you love, it's hard to get so mad. I guess it really is all your own perspective there, but you hope you go through that fire like we've talked about before, and you get them scars and them burns, and those burns make you a little bit tougher, a little bit more wiser, because a lot of the other shit, which is a lot of shit, doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't bring it down, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Don't take away your shine.
Yeah, you know, I was on a trip with a very close friend of mine. They run a very large hospitality catering company, and we were coming back, and it was his wife's big birthday, 40th birthday, and he's usually so type A on it. It's the kind of guy he is, why he's so successful. And we're coming back, we're going through customs. He goes, well, I'm just going to do the emails tomorrow, because you know why? We're not saving babies. You know, and I was like, wow, that's just like a great way to look at things. Because, like, you know, he's like, at the end of the day, you know, my job's my job. I have my wife, and it's her 40th birthday. And, like, these emails can wait till the morning. But even with my job, like, I'm a people pleaser. So I get caught up, and I get stressed out about something that's not my fault or should be my problem. So I've been trying to be better about that.
Hey, Sweet Danny, not to sidetrack, do you have any... I don't get no volume whatsoever in my headphones.
Oh, let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if there's something going on over there. Not that I need him. We're not taking phone calls yet. I can't even get the fucking YouTube. I guys, I know the YouTube's doing the thing again, and I apologize.
I think I know the reason. I do apologize because I had bumped the frame rate all the way down last time to try to get it to play, and I didn't change it back up when we started this one. So I think I'm at like 20 frames. I think that's why it's slow because everything on the computer says it's running fine.
All right. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Just email Kevin, please. I know, I get it.
We can roll with audio.
Yeah. All right. So, Vicky, let's do a little Ask Vicky. Vicky, someone wants to know, can somebody come back reincarnated as a spirit. Is that
That's you're not really coming back if you're coming back as a ghost.
Damn, Vicky thinks you're dumb.
I mean, to me, that's the logical side of me said that's. I mean, you're not really coming back.
So okay, yeah. Look, I y'all asked that question. Vicky, what has been the scariest spirit you've ever seen or encountered? The scariest. We're talking about holy shit.
Literally.
It takes a lot to scare me. I guess the most interaction I ever had was when I was scratched. And it happened twice in the same location, 2 different times. So I guess that I wasn't scared though. I was like, oh yeah, thanks.
Well, maybe let me frame it this way: the average person, what would be the one spirit you go, yep, that would fuck them up?
Well, there's a house that I have used for training, and there's a spirit there that we call Shadow Man. And whenever I have a potential team member, I take them to this location. Now, back years ago, this particular room, he would pace in front of this one door in this one room. And I brought a potential male. I like to call him Ken because he was very cute. It's like a Ken doll.
Really?
But Ken didn't last long because I purposely sat where I knew Shadow Man was going to walk back and forth. And Shadow Man was a big guy. And he was sitting across, and all of a sudden he goes, Vicky? I'm like, yeah? There's a man, like, walking in front of you and beside you, and he keeps doing it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's Shadow Man. You want to ask him some questions? And he's like, could we get out of the room, please?
So Ken was a pussy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we never saw him again.
Damn, Ken. Beckett.
Bitch boy Ken.
Don't be a Ken on Friday.
I'll try
I don't
not
want
to.
to see you running for the hills.
What time is this shindig happening?
Look, if you want to get here, I'm off that wagon.
It's
So
6 to question mark.
Okay.
someone did ask, is Jaybird allowed to just drink, do whatever?
You could, because you're not actively investigating, so you can live your life.
And I think that would make sense because we don't want to change it up.
I don't want to change whatever you've been doing. I mean, certain things I don't want to see.
Although I haven't
when I
been
review.
drinking, which is funny.
Whatever rationalizes JMO, right?
Dude, believe me, I have too much irrational. Yeah.
But we try not to interrupt a person's regular scheduled day.
Whatever they're feeling,
Whatever you're doing,
if
whatever
I'm
you
gonna
wanna
be
do.
me, just be me, Bird, and fly
Right.
them wings.
Yep.
Got
Walk
it.
around naked like Bigfoot.
As soon as I get home, I'm naked AF. Always. And Vicky, last question here. Do you believe reptiles have a spirit?
I don't see why not. I mean, I'm super sensitive even to like ants and roaches and things like that. I don't like killing other living things. I think that, you know,
Well,
why not?
my view would be, I find it arrogant if we just say, oh, humans have spirits, but dogs don't. But then if you go, well, dogs have spirits definitely, and cats have spirits because they are pets. We here in America, we love dogs.
What about ferrets?
And cats and ferrets too. They're going to heaven too.
All right.
Because my daughter's got a ferret, and we also have some fish. They're going to heaven.
Turtles.
Anything else? Yeah, it's kind of arrogant to say we're the only creature that gets to go.
Right.
And then, fuck you, Roach. Roach doesn't get to go either, just because Roach kind of
Just 'cause
grosses
he's
you out.
gross?
That doesn't that go against the golden rule and not judging and fucking treating people the way you want to be treated?
That's
Yeah.
always been the weird thing for me because it seems like humans, definitely Americans, humans' litmus test on what can be killed or factory farmed to what is horrible that we judge people on is based on how cute that animal is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's social media thinking.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
I even think that plants have souls. I
Look.
talk to my plants, and I apologize if I forget to water them for a couple days. And I go to. I honestly, I've gotten to the point where I probably need therapy, but I am so sensitive to anything that I consider living.
Yeah, well, that's because that's your
Yeah,
that's your
it's a
shtick.
good
That's your
thing.
Not shtick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your thing, baby. It's your theme.
Always like Vicky, man. She loves everything. Right?
That's why, because like a lot of plants, you're keeping a lot of it there. You're just kind of harvesting, literally and figuratively, the fruit, right? It's almost like clipping their nails for them in a way. You're just keeping maintenance on
Man,
them.
are we having a deep off? I think with that. By the way, great job with Vicky answering the questions. If you have a question for Vicky, again, and I'm so trying not to be a dick. Someone said you were such a dick when you said this last week. Although I just kind of sound like a dick right there. Just if you write a 7-page email, it's really hard for me to go through. That's all I'm saying. So just keep it short. Keep it somewhat short for the question.
Concise.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. And then you'll get on. I promise.
Yeah, perfect.
With that said, we have got some
Denny's random facts.
Oh, sweet Denny's.
Oh, he's got the water this time. He's
He
ready.
does. He's got the really gross looking. Please show that water. What
So-
the fuck is that?
It's got Kool-Aid left over, and then I used bird water. So
We both were messing with some Kool-Aid.
that red Kool-Aid lasts forever, though.
Oh, so it was a 3-way. So
Yeah.
what's 369s?
Someone always gets left out. That's why his mouth is...
Someone do the math. I'm not a numbers guy. What's 369s?
369.
Well, you, Beckett, and the Kool-Aid made man.
Oh, we
Yeah.
would have to lay on our sides and do a triangle. I think would be the only way you could do it.
Yeah, the pizza slice.
Yeah, we'd have to do that, unfortunately. It wouldn't be a 69.
Oh my gosh, it'd go viral.
It would absolutely, but I don't think for the right reason.
All right, let's get serious now, kids. Our sweet Denny's, he's going to give us a series of great factoids, and these factoids, well, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're shitty. It all depends on our teacher, Vicky. She is a professional educator.
Oh, yeah.
If she loves it, she gives it an A. She is known to throw that F, though. Denny's, the floor is yours.
All right. I'll start off with a fun one then. You guys know the Muppet vampire Count Von Count from Sesame Street? He's actually based, not only his name being a play on Count, he's based on an old vampire myth. And I didn't know if you guys have ever heard this vampire myth, but technically, vampires are compelled to count seeds. So at night, people would throw seeds out in front of their doorway so that when a vampire would approach, he would feel compelled to count them, delaying him until morning when he would have to flee. So that's why the count counts. He's based on that myth right there. So I decided to pull up a bunch of other things to see. A lot of these we've probably heard of as far as vampires go. The traditional stuff, wearing garlic around the neck, head for daylight, tossing holy water. But I thought this one was particularly odd, and this is still a common practice, although it is considered illegal. In modern-day Romania, vampire killing, if they suspect a relative that might come back as a vampire, they'll dig them up, cut out their hearts, burn that heart to ashes, put those ashes into water, and drink it.
Wow.
You can't call them lazy.
Savage.
Savage indeed, to prevent the resurrection of vampire, and that's an illegal practice that is still, done in the shadows, I guess you could say.
Interesting. Isn't today Ash Wednesday?
Oh, look at that. Look at that tie.
Damn, Beckett.
Accidental
man.
tie.
Wow. But was it? Are there truly any accidents? I don't know. Different topic. Vicky.
Coincidence.
Now, I had heard the counting thing. They had actually used it in a TV show for leprechauns.
Oh,
That you
very
could
cool.
distract a leprechaun by throwing something, and they had to sit there and count it. Well, because you started off with something supernatural, I have to give bonus points. So, a B.
There you go.
Nice
Damn.
for bite the neck.
Damn.
There you
What
go.
was the what? Why did you not get the A? What was the critique there?
It wasn't that spectacular.
Damn, man. Go.
That
Go-
vamp.
It was more natural than super, so
There you go.
I had to go with a B.
Educational system. Are you cool, Vicky?
Yeah. What do you guys think
Denny's
about?
left behind.
Yes. What do you guys think about this? Although the name Tiffany was extremely popular in the 12th century, it's never used in historical novels because readers find it too modern. This has given a rise to a term called the Tiffany Effect or the Tiffany Paradox, where something is considered much more modern than it actually is. So, like an example was the movie Braveheart. They originally were not going to be wearing kilts because kilts weren't invented at the time that took place. But audiences couldn't accept that Scottish people were running around without kilts, that they made them wear kilts for the movie because people can't identify. They say it's because our brain won't accept something because of our incorrect perception of a past is the premise, I guess. But anyway, so I pulled up a couple extra names here. Tiffany is super old, but also Wade. You think that's a pretty popular, common name. That's from the medieval era. The name Shayna is from 17th century Yiddish. Shane, who hangs out at the beach, is 17th century Gaelic.
Shane hangs out at the beach, and he's plug your ears. He's trying to fuck your sister, and he's trying to get with your girlfriend too. Shane.
And this name I thought was hilarious.
That's funny.
Beverly is derived from the term beaver meadow from 1526 because I guess a beaver meadow used to be beautiful, so they came up with the name Beverly.
Now I understand why it's called
Becky,
Beverly
yeah,
Hills.
I can hear Beckett's boner.
Yes, I threw that in.
Sounds about right. The mic is now higher.
But they even do it in all cinema is a big offender of this. But if you watch old movies where they have monks reading from tomes, there's dust and yellow pages. Monks' books were immaculate. They praised their books. If there was ever an issue with it, they would replace it. So it's because we accept that it's got to be old and ancient, so it has to have dust and yellow pages, even though it actually did not. So it's a bunch of inaccuracies, and it's called the Tiffany Effect.
Dust and Yellow Pages. How would a classic rock song sound if it was called Dust and Yellow Pages?
It'd probably be like, she left me and I left a note. Dust and yellow pages.
Oh, my
Ah.
gosh. Fucking goosebumps, kid.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Wow. Holy shit. Wow. We're getting a twofer. We're getting Denny's Random Facts and serenaded.
Yeah,
All right,
wow.
Vicky. I mean, after the song, too.
Well, song didn't give any extra points.
No.
I'm here to grade the facts, okay? That one's a B too.
Damn, dog.
Yeah,
I'll take B's.
but I think it's BS that they change historical accuracy just because we can't comprehend it.
Yeah, I mean, literature is also a big offender of it as well in their description. It's weird. They said that toilets and baths you'll never see. They always do the old portrayal where they're pouring like hot water from, but they actually had, irrigation systems and they were able to heat stuff. In fact, even back to biblical era, they had metal stoves where they and every time you see an old thing there, it's always like made of clay and it's circular. It's just because we can't accept it the way that it actually is. We think it's much more.
You were talking Braveheart.
Yeah.
There are so many wrong, incorrect things in that movie. It's redundant.
Titanic is a big offender as well.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. So I pulled this one for the bird. This one's kind of more just fun than anything.
Okay,
but
I'm listening.
because of the stunt today on the KVJ show, Bird was doing bum hops. He was trying to skip bum skips. He was skipping on his bum.
It really kind of, I'm not going to lie, Vicky, it really kind of started off the shitty part of my day.
I can imagine, pun intended.
I don't think we originally were going to do it on the tile floor, but
Yeah,
it kind of
it's not even that it hurt my ass is. I'm walking around like Yoda, old Yoda, first of all. But that's not why. I'm just saying. It just Virginia's out of town, and we're down a person. When you're down a person, it's the wrong time to do a stunt in the fucking lobby at work. It was technical. It was.
Yeah.
Denny's, yes, go.
So I was worried about your damaged coccyx, which is the tailbone, as you guys know, as everybody loves saying. But I found it weird. That word is derived from the Greek word cuckoo, because the curved shape of the tailbone resembles a bird's beak. So it's named after a bird's beak.
That'd be kind of a cool name for a bar or a brothel. Hey, man, let's get a drink at Bird's Beak.
Oh, bird's beak's a cool name.
Or, hey, want to get some poontang at Bird's Beak.
I like it.
It's a coccyx. But yeah, it's named after the shape because it looks like a bird's beak.
Okay, Vicky.
See,
Damn.
Whoa.
Damn, C for coccyx.
You're
Yeah,
going down,
exactly.
dog. You're trying to down.
Yes, I hear you. Let's see here. The visually impaired or blind have more nightmares, actually 4 times more than people with sight. And they think, I don't know, because the imagination, they think it's more vivid. It
Yeah.
causes more overactive thinking.
That would make
They
sense.
said compared to people who lose sight halfway through their life, it drops that number to 7%. They only suffer 7% nightmares.
Interesting.
Yeah, my dreams are they're whack, dog. They are whack. Vicky, when's the last time you had a dream?
oh, I dream every night.
Do you remember them?
Most of them, yeah.
Are they all bad, all good, in between?
There's all kinds. All kinds.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of like 99% Rotten Tomatoes score. Well, fucking night terrors.
My friend walks around telling everyone that she can lucid dream, and it gets annoying because she's always bragging
Good.
about
I
it.
can
you
do that too,
control
though.
Yeah.
I absolutely. I was having a nightmare, and I was walking into a room, and I knew not to go into that room because the person there was going to stick me. The person was in the corner, and they had a needle with HIV blood, and they were gonna pin me down and stick me in. And I knew they were in there, and I know for a fact I was controlling where I was going. I knew what was happening.
Wow.
And that's happened a lot. Now, that doesn't happen in all dreams, but there's a certain kind of dream where I'm able to seriously control what the fuck's going on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've never really been able to lucidly dream.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like that, actually. It's kind of more of a panic because you really are in that thing, and
Right.
you're playing the video game at that point.
You
You're
do
making all the
control.
decisions. If you're chilling and all of a sudden I'm talking to Beckett and he turns into a Pop-Tart, and the Pop-Tart's my girlfriend, but it's still Beckett.
Isn't that funny how dreams work like that?
Yeah.
You'll be talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden they're your dog.
and then
you're
we're 69 in, and it's not Beckett, it's my ex-girlfriend.
oh, jeez.
And then it's not my ex-girlfriend, it's a typewriter.
It's your math teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, but it all makes sense. It all makes sense
It
in
does
a dream.
until you start trying to remember it, and it feels like sand.
It's
pouring
so
out of your-
fleeting.
Yeah.
I've had the dream. I have had these kind of dreams where I'm trying to run away, but you feel like you're just
Not moving.
you can't run.
It's the worst. That was that.
You're running really slow. It's like the most frustrating dream you can have.
That was that Chewy dream I told you all about. I told you guys about that.
I don't know if I remember that.
I might have said that in the KVJ show. I got a pretty scathing email. I told a story about Chewy. We'll get to that. Denny's. What was his grade on that one? Did you give it to him?
Got distracted.
You know what?
It was
the-
the visually impaired.
Yeah, the
having
visually
more
impaired.
4 times more nightmares.
But that's okay. That's like a B minus.
I mean, that,
Interesting fact, but the delivery kind of.
all right.
She's making you better.
Cold. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm getting the thicker skin. All right. Do you want to go into the Chewy email? Do you want
No.
me to-
Give us two more mediocre factors. Did you have two or do you have one?
Oh, I mean, I got a bunch over here.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I don't want to
Bragger.
brag. Yes. I'm just kidding. I do have some more here. So I have this one's this one's gonna be pretty long. I'll save that for next week. So
Yeah.
here. So in addition to the known blood types ABO, the system we use here, there's a fourth very rare variant. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the Bombay blood group. Since only about 20,000 people worldwide even have this blood group, almost all of whom come from India. Weird. It's an extra one. They don't even talk about it because it's so rare.
Oh yeah. I'm grading Vicky's face. You ain't getting out of here with that's a C. Probably a C plus.
I hope it's good, but I
C
can't.
plus? No. I mean, I'm on either straight C or a C minus.
So you know what they say in the
Saying.
business, and on a real low note. Denny's, great job, kid. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome too, Vicky. I do want to, yeah. So the Chewy email, I had a really dream about Chewy. This very vivid dream where I could not find his medicine and I couldn't find his food, and he's in my kitchen here, and I'm looking for it. And in the dream, it seems as if hours have gone by and I cannot get him, and I can tell he's hungry and I can tell he's blah blah blah. I can't get anything there, and I wasn't sure. Oh, and so what ended up happening was I awoken from the dream, from the nightmare, because a Chewy picture had fallen. Boom! Woke up and it was the Chewy picture of me and him. So I tell that story on the air, and this Stacy, Bird's Chewy dream. Bird, stop talking about Chewy. We get it. You're sad about your dead dog. That's how she starts that one off.
Wow.
Stacy. We don't need to always hear about it. As far as the dream you had about him, waking up when the picture fell, let's just chalk that up to pure coincidence. I'm sure Vicky will have some weird explanation that no one will ever get. From what I gather, you have several pictures around your house of Chewy anyway. A picture was bound to fall at some point. No, Chewy did not wake you up from your bad dream, little boy. Stop boring your listeners with shit that isn't real. I know it sounds like I'm being harsh, but it sounds like you need someone, and they spelled someone wrong. You need to keep it 100p with you. Just my 2 cents, Stacy.
Was that Stacy or Karen?
Vicky, response? Could she throw you in there too?
Yeah, I don't know how I get thrown in with things with you all the time.
I mean, you're in it, blood in, blood out.
I mean, I probably would have said that the picture was a coincidence at the time, but I think that all of us, when we have a pet or even a loved one that's passed, we always go through something where we think that, oh, I could have done something different, or I wish I had done this. So I think in the dream, when you're trying to find his medication and things like that, because you and I have talked about how he never made it here.
Yeah, he did,
But it was, you know what
it was
I'm
one
saying.
day, yeah, for sure.
And you even question, is it because we moved? Is it because of this? And because
Yeah.
we all go through that. So I think it was just those internal feelings that you have just manifesting in a dream.
I mean, I'm Italian. I cannot feel guilt. I mean, if I order a sandwich, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I order the right sandwich? Yeah. So no, to your point, I think there is some guilt there, and I wonder if a lot of pet owners go through that. I always feel I could have done more for Chewy, or did I, did I make all the right decisions? And I think anytime you care about something and love something and have passion, whether it's a song you write or a poem you do or a house you sell, if you really care for something and it means something to you, it's going to fuck with your head.
But I have the same reoccurring dream, only it's with random pets that have never been my pet. Like where I supposedly have this animal and I forgot to feed it for like 4 days. Or it doesn't have water for a certain... And this is a reoccurring thing that I have each time. It may be a different type of animal, but I guess it's just some kind of guilt resurfacing from something.
Have the same dream with, and I know it's a common dream. It clearly has to mean something. I'm back at high school, and I'm my age at this time, but I'm not going to graduate. It's just not going to. I have to go to fucking summer school, and I'm just finding out that the last exam was an hour ago. So what the fuck am I going to do? And I'm going, what's happening here? And then in the dream, I go, what, dude, you graduated from college. And then I go, where's my diploma at? And I can't find my diploma. And someone's going, where's your diploma at, dude? I go, I can't find it. What is that about?
I don't know, but I have the exact same nightmares that in the dream, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't graduate high school. And when I wake up, I have to reassure myself, you have a college degree. You went through high school, but I have the exact same dream that I did not get my education.
Isn't it weird, the dream tropes? Like you mentioned earlier, how running, you're slow, or something, you're talking to somebody, all of a sudden there's somebody different. Is it why there's like 10 things that always are reoccurring in everyone's dreams?
It's like the 10 Commandments. There's 10 major themes.
That will always happen. You always have a hard time running. You're always going to be naked somewhere that you don't want to be.
Yeah, I'm not the first person to go to the school and go, oh my gosh,
panic
what's
about
happening?
not graduating. That's so funny because that's a dream I've had in my youth.
Yeah, people have showing up to school naked a lot too.
That's another humongous
Well, I think in
trope.
school you hadn't figured out, like we talk about now that you're a little older. You've made the joke you give a F way less when you're
For
older.
sure.
You kind of are more comfortable, hopefully, with yourself. You have different realizations and lessons in school. Middle school and in high school. You could be the cool kid, but you're still worried about being cool, and you're going through these changes in life, and you're dealing with girls and new feelings or the opposite sex and all this other stuff, and you're worried about the homework's not due on time. You procrastinated for that paper till the last minute, and you had to pull an all-nighter and turned it in, so not to be cheesy, but relatively speaking, there's some PTSD there, I think, a little bit with school. I mean, you're in school a large part of your life.
It's all you know.
That's your social network. Like, it's a huge chunk for people.
You're there too in a major part of a human being's development.
That's right.
That's the main. I always say you're getting cooked.
Yeah.
You're in the oven getting all the ingredients cooked up until you're about 21.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they say 90% of what you learn in college is outside of the classroom. I had to pay
bumper sticker.
Probably. I had to go shopping for myself. I had to pay my rent. I had to schedule study time. Like, it was a big difference from when I was in high school in a lot of ways, obviously. And you definitely grew up a lot.
It's just weird how when you're young, I mean, I think it's just because everything's so new to you, but you're just so excited for everything until you get to about like 26, and then things start losing a little bit of the shine. And then when you hit about 30, you stop wanting to. You found what you like, and you only care about that now. It's hard to like anything.
Yeah.
I feel like a human being, if you live long enough, you've been to the puppet show, you've seen the strings, and you know you do. To your point, Denny's, you know what you like, and I think for a lot of people, it is a conscious effort, work. I mean, to get excited about life, to really get genuinely, yeah, man, rah. The moods and you're not feeling well and you're tired. Sometimes you got to go in there with a conscious game plan. And that's silly for a lot of people. People still think self-help and all that stuff is bogus and bullshit. And it's really not. It's not. It's training your brain. If you're afraid of speaking in front of people and you really want to tackle that, if you got obsessed about not being afraid of speaking in front of people, I'm not saying you're going to cure that fear, but you're going to, without a doubt, be better than what you ever were be, and you're going to have tools to fight that battle. It's all about, I mean, we've talked about it before, sink or swim, and that's your attitude about anything. It's all, a lot of it's attitude.
It's probably just because, like, even meditation to an extent, it kind of feels silly or goofy, you know? So I think people are shy away from it. But it really, I mean, it does. It's a game changer. It's all about your mental state.
Yeah, and I don't want someone thinking I'm saying, yeah, read some quotes and everything's going to be okay. No, there's
Affirmations do help, though.
There's tough shit out there, and I'm saying we all need a little bit of help towards those tough little wars you go in. Why don't you want those little positive things?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and I have this conversation with myself. You know, I'll sit down and watch 3 episodes of 2.5 Men and not even think about the time that I spent. And then for some reason, when I try to sit down and meditate for 10 minutes, all of a sudden I don't have time.
Yeah.
Because
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you why. Because meditation, true meditation, is not easy in the beginning. And it's very hard. And there's so many fleeting thoughts. And you're not going to be successful in the beginning. And people don't like to be a part of something that they can't crush right away. We live in a time where everything is on demand. Meditation is so the complete opposite of what modern day thinking is like. That meditation is about shutting it all down, patience, growth, all that. That is not easy to do because it's tedious and you have to keep, it's a lot of failing and tripping. And you don't see results quickly.
Yeah, it's like playing the piano, like we were talking about, you know?
You have to fucking trip and fall a lot.
Yeah.
To then all of a sudden, a year and a half later, go, hey, I'm enlightened. I know everything.
There you go.
And it's hard to see progress while you're in it.
That's right.
Yeah. Vicky, are you a meditator?
No.
Are you a prayer?
Not in the traditional way I think that people think about praying. I say a lot of things in my head that I hope that will manifest by repeating it. To me, like when I want to go to a peaceful place for me, I put on some headphones and I listen to music. So that's the form of meditation that and growing up, like other people got into drugs and this, that, and the other. If I felt depressed or whatever I felt, I just put on my headphones.
Put a Prince on, just fade away.
Whatever it
Meatloaf.
was. Depends on the time period. It could have been a little bit of Leif Garrett.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Vicky had the hots for Leif Garrett. Kids, Google Leif Garrett. Also, kids, stop listening to this fucking podcast. How long have we been going there, Sweet Denny's?
A little over an hour.
A little over an hour. All right. Let's see what else.
I think we started right on time today.
But to bring it back, I mean, the one of the big topics I do get for a lot of people that send and listen to the Weird Whatever podcast is a lot of animal stuff, spiritual stuff about animals, because I think a lot of people aren't getting married anymore, and they are going the other way with pets, and their pets are now. If you're not getting married and you're not in a relationship, you're not having kids typically. I know you can adopt kids or there's other situations that can happen. But typically, if you're just a pet owner and you're not getting married and you're not doing that.
Sounds awesome.
Your pet for a lot of people are their kids now.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I get so many animal. Someone said their dog passed away 4 years ago. they still have a tough time getting over it. It's still a big challenge for them.
Yeah.
Well, probably because their dog never did to them what human beings do to each other on a daily basis.
It's a very good point, Vicky.
And you look at things like I was house sitting this weekend, and this person, she saved a bunch of feral cats, and there's one that just refuses to stay on the screen and porch, you know, so she goes during the day, she goes out into the woods, and then at night she comes in for her food. And so the other cats that were there, when she came up this one night, well, they sit and they wait for her. Like two of the cats are just sitting there waiting for her. And when she came in, it was almost like they went, yay. They went up and they were rubbing up against her and stuff like that. And they had pure joy because she came back that night and was with them. It's like, how many times do somebody walks in the room and we go, yay, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, you're right. You get that immediate rush.
Yeah.
What gives you a rush, Jenny, other than weed?
I mean, I like getting all my stuff done. My favorite feeling ever is when the house is clean and everything's done. It's just it's almost, and then you can get high as shit after, man. It's like the greatest. It's all about building the empire and then tearing it down.
It's the first thing I do now when I get home. And I'm in such a
I'm a big cleaner right when I get
practice
home.
of it now to where when I get home, there's really not much to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a routine.
Oh, it makes the rest of your day so much better.
It does. If you're trying to have a creative mind or a peaceful mind, clutter I don't think goes
With
really nicely
creativity.
with. It does not. In fact, it gives anxiety and a doom and
So-
gloom pressure.
I have to go home and clean.
If you got clutter,
It does help. No, Beckett, if you are in a cluttered world right now and you're noticing that, I'm telling you, empty out some shit. Get it nice and get some candles lit and space that shit out. You will feel like $1 million. As
some
weird
good
as that
sense.
sounds.
Because I've
Yeah.
always heard clutter causes confusion, and I'm very type B, and it's what makes me good at my job and why I have to, and I'm self-aware that I have to delegate some things, you know? And because I'm more the people person, I hate paperwork. Hate it. I'll procrastinate on it. I'm on to the next deal before I finish the paperwork. So you have to be self-aware and you have to delegate that part of it. But man, I hate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, when I lived at the last townhouse, it was cluttered. The cluttering, I could feel it in my mood.
Yeah.
Get it out.
So
Cleanse.
I agree with you, and I think that it's most likely true. But I have, just because like you hear also like, oh, red wine's good for you, it's good whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, like it's probably some researchers really kind of like trying to like cherry pick some data out there.
they don't say drink
So I heard
2 bottles.
Einstein was extremely disorganized, and they say it's a sign of creativity. So a lot of people I think rationalize themselves out of clutter sometimes because they hear on the news like, oh, clutter's a sign of creativity.
Being disorganized and clutter really kind of are sort of different because you can be disorganized and still get rid of your clutter and
That's
go,
true.
I'm a disorganized person. I know I am. This clutter is not helping anything. Because I think I can already hear someone typing, Bird, your place is cluttered with so much shit. I'm talking about
That's different, though.
cluttered stuff that is. It serves no purpose for
Right.
creativity. This clutter is to get creativity.
When
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
typing and paper sticks to you and you go like this and you hit a drink, and you're
Yes.
just like, oh my gosh. Like,
Or that box that you haven't moved for 3 weeks.
You
that's-
keep kicking
and
it.
yeah, it's in your way. Or the stack of bullshit that means nothing. All that. Just a theory. Subconsciously, I think it plays on your mood. And our mood's a syllabus, just like you get in school. Everything is a percentage towards that 100%. 10% might be, what you're eating, or 20%. 30% might be sleeping. Clutter could be 2%, but all of that,
Yeah.
goes towards your mental health.
It's true. That's what they said. Einstein and Steve Jobs wore the same outfit mostly, often, because it's just another brain thing that you're putting in your head. What you're wearing, how that person's judging on you look, what you got to pick out that morning, and you have more or less the same outfit. It's just like black shirt, jeans,
Yeah,
shoes.
so much
It's
easier.
one thing you don't have to think about.
Vicky, so you got school tomorrow. Your outfit already picked out?
Yeah, it's already hanging outside of the closet.
When did you know you were going to wear Thursday's outfit?
Well, I pulled it out today and decided I didn't want to wear it today because it was a little cool, so I could wear my hoodie. So I had planned on wearing it today, so now it's already ready for tomorrow.
Do most people act this way?
I don't.
I do
Alright.
for time.
I'm pulling it out of the dryer and maybe throwing an iron over.
Oh, dude, if people had a camera on, what the fuck goes on? Oh, my God. Yeah, no one's going to be surprised, by the way. Well, I think with all that, guys, let's end on a laugh. Let's end on some fun. Thank you guys for dealing with the glitches. We'll get it right. We're going to get it right. I appreciate you all listening. Anything to plug? Anything to say? Promote?
No, just if anybody goes on the point page, I am not using that email address because of GoDaddy. And so go ahead and send it. Hey, I've been with them since 2007. I deserve my free email. But anyway, if you need anything, if you need anything, if you need an investigation or you want to set up a reading, you can send me an email to Nancy, Nancy 38drew DREW at AOL.com.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of people that are asking for readings and stuff like that, and it's easy for them to come to my Jason KVJ Instagram. I'm getting that system's working very great. So if you have a question for Vicky, send them to me right now on Jason KVJ on my Instagram. If you are following me there, I'm putting them all in a big group right now. Since we've been talking about that, I got about 2 weeks of some good stuff. Okay. Keep sending me that shit. The other thing I did want to say, something new I wanted to try out here on the Weird and Whatever podcast is that I love local music, and I think a lot of times local musicians, they really struggle, and they never have a lot of places to play, especially with COVID. If you are in a band and you are writing original music, I don't care what genre it is, send it to me. Send it to my personal email, jasonpennington, kvj@gmail. What I would like to do, if I get enough, and we'll try it out for a while, I'd like to end the podcast. So if people don't want to hear any music, they can fucking shut it off so it's not intrusive to the podcast. Mm-hmm. But let's promote some local music, because there's a lot of great, talented people out there that nobody knows about.
That's great. I like it.
Me and Denny's are musicians. We know what it's like, man. We're on the radio. We know how fucking hard it is to get exposure, so we get it.
It's brutal out there.
It's brutal out there. Yeah, so send me your songs. I don't care what kind of genre it is. I would like to showcase local musicians. It's got to be original music. Don't send me no bullshit covers. Yeah. I don't want no fucking covers. All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We love you all, and
Bigfoot is real.
That sound, it's aliens, and they're living in your town. They have arrived. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared of aliens? Well, you should be, because aliens want to